All right, all right. What's going on, everybody? How are you feeling? Of course, it's the one and only Dr. Albert Higgins and my co-host, Bridget Gibson. And guess what it is? Guess what it is? You already know what it is. It is
It's the
Tuesday.
Alpha
That's right.
Mindset Tuesday podcast.
Absolutely. It is Tuesday, and it is the Alpha Mindset Podcast. And this is a topic I get a lot. I get it a lot. And what it's about the holiday season depression. Are you familiar with that, Bridget? The holiday season depression.
Doc, I'm not familiar with it. I have not had any depression during the holidays. The holidays are really exciting for me. And I have not been around anyone except um, people who've lost loved ones who are remembering them at this time. But
Yeah,
nothing that's really deep, you know, it's mostly just grieving for lost loved ones.
yeah, yeah. Holiday depression is a serious issue. The Christmas holiday, Thanksgiving, and New Year's, they're back to back to back.
Hmm.
Number one, and what we've noticed this particular year is there was a downtick on this infamous Black Friday.
Really?
Many people, there's not as much shopping going on. One, because of the economy, there's no money out there.
Hmm.
People are not spending money like they normally would, and you see it, and it's reflected. And usually
Hmm.
when that happens, because we are in a recession, and a lot of Americans, we have a hard time adjusting because Americans spend money worse than anywhere else in the world. We have really bad spending. So when you
Hmm.
combine that with the pressure of a Christmas and a holiday, I need gifts.
Hmm.
Thanksgiving, we got to do this for the quote unquote family, even
Hmm.
though we don't talk any other time of the year. But this year, that particular month, we just got to meet up. And then, of course, we want to drink cocktails and party at
Hmm.
this no end on New Year's Day. All of these things are centered around money. And when you're in
Yes.
economic crunch like it is now, the effects of that is it takes two, three, for some people, 6 months to recover,
Hmm.
only to go right back into the economic peril in less than 4 months after the 6 months.
You're right.
Because now you're getting ready for the holidays again.
Hmm.
Boy, and it's an endless cycle.
It is.
And that's just with on the financial side. You know, we're going to touch on some other things, but
Yeah,
yes,
finances is huge. Just for Thanksgiving, you'll spend between $300 and $500 easy.
absolutely,
Because after you purchase everything for, your guests and your family, you're constantly running back and forth to the store buying grocery. Before you know it, you done spend a ton of money,
absolutely, absolutely.
you
And we're
know.
talking thousands. We're not talking just a few hundred, thousands of dollars between
Yeah, between
Thanksgiving and
Thanksgiving
New
and
Year's.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It gets really, really crazy. So, I mean, what are some of the things that you do during the holidays that festive?
Well, I enjoy putting up a beautiful tree, a nice live tree. That's expensive, you know, because, trees are not inexpensive. They're expensive. And then you want to decorate it really nice. So then you have your ornaments and everything. So, of course, you got to have your holiday parties where you invite your friends over and, just enjoy each other's time. So it never ends. Buying
Yeah,
presents for family, friends, co-workers. It can get
yeah,
really expensive.
absolutely. And because of the festive seasons, one thing that because a person like myself, who's been, studying human behavior for the
Hmm.
past 25 years, what's interesting about this is the paradigm of codependence
Hmm.
that is intertwined in this season. One, it's the effects of society.
Hmm.
Everyone has a Christmas tree. I gotta have a Christmas. My
Hmm.
mother had a Christmas tree. She taught me how to have a Christmas tree. Darn it, I'm gonna have a Christmas tree.
Hmm.
And oh my goodness, don't let your children be of age. And you're saying, hey, son, hey, daughter, are you going to put up a Christmas tree?
Yeah.
How big is your tree going to be? So now
Yes.
they got to have a Christmas tree. And it becomes a part of the family. It
Hmm.
becomes a cycle that is really, really hard to break. And it is debilitating on the front end when we
It
come to
really is.
fighting. It is a debilitating thing to have to obligate yourself to something when you already are obligated to build and self-care. It's really, really difficult to then have to fit
Mhm.
in a Christmas tree with ornaments for a particular reason, a holiday,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
It's
It's
like
everywhere.
what am I working for?
And then your neighbors, you
Oh
want your house to look nice, you want
yes,
to keep up with the neighbors. They'll make sure you keep up with them.
yes,
They'll
absolutely,
let you know this is what we're doing, and everybody in the whole neighborhood needs to be a part of this. So
absolutely.
that's even more that you have to add to your plate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And that is what is peer pressure. This is the term that a
Hmm.
lot of people talk about a lot. This is when you're under the pressure to be impressive about your peers. And now we start getting into these phobias and these complexes of I wonder what people are gonna think of me.
Hmm.
Oh man, I can't let them out me. Oh man, I'm gonna make sure that I put that tree right in my main window. So when people drive by, my neighbor drive by, look at my big tall 8 foot tree. I'm gonna get a white tree this time too. I don't think they had a white tree last year. These kind of things. These
I've
kind of
done it,
things.
Doc. I have done it. I have arranged the tree to make sure it was seen through the little slits on the side. That's sad. That is sad.
Absolutely. We all get caught up in the holiday blues. And even with the increased stress, you have loneliness and isolation. Now, this is
Hmm.
another thing because a lot of times everyone doesn't have one, a large network of friends.
Hmm.
For some people, unfortunately, they don't have a large network of family. So those two things, those combinations of those two things, they can be gut wrenching. They can be really difficult for some people. Not to mention when you've lost your loved ones,
Yes.
parents, siblings, your intimate other, husband, wife, you've lost these people, and now the holiday season comes around, and they're not there with you, and that is a really lonely,
Hmm.
depressing time of year.
You're right. And
Yeah,
at this time of the year, we really need to have grace with our family members because sometimes we get so busy celebrating that we forget that that person is grieving.
yes,
And we're
yes,
wondering why you're not happy, why you're not enjoying the season.
yeah.
We forget that they're grieving.
Absolutely. We do. We
So
really,
we
really
do
do.
need to have grace with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, that leads to unrealistic expectations
Hmm.
because we expect people to be resilient as we do. And everyone is not, everyone has a weakness. Everyone
Hmm.
has a part of the year or a certain time of the month or, certain things that trigger us that
Hmm.
make us feel uncomfortable. And we set unrealistic expectations. Hey, you know what? I'm just going to take a deep breath. I think I'll go shop. Oh,
Hmm.
those guys, I have a staycation this week. And before you know it, you develop a really bad habit around unrealistic expectations
Hmm.
because you haven't dealt with the trauma. You haven't really dealt with the trauma head on. We tend to take other elements and use that as a deflection for actually dealing with the trauma and the root cause around
And mostly our trauma is based in childhood, right, Doc?
it.
And
Oh yes,
so around holidays, a lot of us have trauma because sometimes our parents couldn't get what we wanted. And we seen a lot of sadness in the
yes,
house during that time.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's a typical thing. It's an atypical thing to say childhood trauma. Yes, yes, it is. But I'll tell you this as a professional here. Um, childhood trauma is one thing, but the older you get, the more traumatic events can possibly happen in your life. That the compound, the trauma the baseline, the trauma that you may
Hmm.
already dealing with, that you might have compartmentalized. You might have been able to take that childhood trauma and lock it away deep in that in your subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And you're operating in stress, and you become a person that has a high tolerance for stress. But then it could be a car accident. It could be a loss of job.
Mm-hmm.
It could be an act of nature, like a flood, a hurricane. It could be something that causes you to further repress a loss of maybe a pet that you have that you're really affectionate with. That pet passes on. These things, a breakup, these kind of things can create even greater stress that are lingering. And then when those holidays come around, oh man, and it can cause what we in the psychological field what we call a complex. It can create a complex. So there's a multitude of things that are going on that are causing you to express yourself in a certain way.
Wow. I never thought about any of that. I just get excited about the holidays, but I'm not thinking that someone else's holiday may not be so great.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we have a tendency to believe in what we believe. Generally speaking, us as people in our communities, generally speaking, we can be really closed-minded. We're not too open-minded to things, and we get stuck in our ways, and we're not open to people as individuals. A lot of us are afraid to be our authentic self because we're worried about what everybody else is going to think about us.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we do things out of pure peer pressure. We want to get along with everyone else. It's really hard to stand up and say, I don't care what everyone else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
This is me. I'm gonna do what I was born and destined to do. I'm gonna speak my mind. No, I don't agree. I know 99 people think this way, but I'm number 100 and I think the other way.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done to do that. So the holiday, season gives you this illusion of inclusion. You know what? I really not feeling this, but I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
I, my cousin keeps calling me, man. Are you gonna come up for the dinner, man? Everybody's coming, man. Come on, man. Don't be like that. So you go to the dinner, and you're smiling with a hurt on the inside.
Yeah.
There's that aunt that you never really got along with, never treated fairly when you was a child, and you gotta suck all that up and give her a hug. These are some kind of things, that can really, stress us out. They really can.
Oh yeah. I mean, we could meet people in the grocery store and we're like, what y'all doing for Christmas? And they'll say, oh, nothing. Oh, well, you gotta do something.
Oh my goodness, exactly. And to the letter, that actually got me feeling too. I would like to say that. And and their coping strategies, that's a coping strategy for the holiday season.
Okay.
That I would like to talk about. One is like managing expectations, setting realistic expectations. Really asking yourself, what am I capable of? What's not capable? Am I really capable? What can I help? What am I not going to tolerate? Like, really say, what? So and so? No, you're not doing that this year. Sorry. I put me first. But you got to set realistic expectations. That's the first.
I think about a lot of times we are thinking that way, but our children, especially if we have young children, they've seen all the biggest, best, brightest toys, and their friends are getting it. And it's like, what do you tell your children? Do you say, well, we're not going to go that direction? Or are you going to do whatever you can to get the toy?
I'll tell you something. Like you just touched on something that's really, really profound. Of course, a lot of my clients talk about this. The remorse of how they raised the children.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, God, I can't believe what I've done to my child.
Mm-hmm.
I really, old school time, I really spoiled my child.
Mm-hmm.
I raised them to take on my bad habits. And now I don't know. And I tell you this much, with your children, you have to be authentic. And you have to come clean.
Mm-hmm.
You got to first start off by apologizing and letting them know
That's
why
good.
some things are for the better. And then you have to be the one that leads by example. You can't be do as I say, not as I do. You have to be willing to sacrifice with your time to show them that you're included, that you empathize. And this is for the better. So
That's
yeah,
good. Yeah, that's really good.
that's a serious thing that you mentioned.
It really is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you have adult children and you're looking at them and you're like, I shouldn't have done that.
That face.
I should have did better.
Ooh, that was stuff. You guys, for those of you that are on Spotify, listening to the podcast, you can see her face. That's funny. Right. You look at that grown child, you're like, well, what have I done?
What have I created?
You can't even be mad at your child because you know you did.
And you have no one to blame but yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I promise you. And another coping strategy is prioritizing self-care. Now, this is another. We don't realize what self-care is until
Hmm.
we realize we have it. Self-care means exactly that. Not caring just a little bit, but no,
Hmm.
100% of your focus is dedicated to you. Not 86%, not 95,
Hmm.
100%. And so in this day and time, one of the biggest distractions, so she wears her emotions on her sleeve. You let me know why she feel, I promise you. And she's like me, I dread it too. So, okay. One of the biggest vices, Mr. Bridget, and I know you're going to relate to this, is this dreaded cell phone. This cell phone right here, oh man, this is a machine of stress. This is a machine of obligation. This is a
Hmm.
machine of habits. Ask yourself how many times you touch that cell phone. How many times are you scrolling up and down? How many times are you enamored with that phone? You're oblivious to everything else that's going on.
You have so
Yeah.
much emails,
Yeah, yes.
text, phone calls, social media. It's a
And
lot.
so, in creating an exclusive self-care regimen, include yourself. You can get apps that are designed for meditation,
Hmm.
listen to some soothing music, maybe a favorite audiobook, maybe actually a nice clip or short video of something that you really like on YouTube
Hmm.
or TikTok, something like that. Then you're gonna put do not disturb on that phone, and it's gonna be all about you. And
Hmm.
I promise you this will prioritize yourself care. It's about building momentum. Start out with 10 minutes. No calls, no emails. Work that 10 minutes up to an hour. There's 24 hours in the day. How can you not devote yourself an hour to yourself before your job, before your children, before anything else? You can't have an hour. What's going to happen when you have the last hour you have in your life? What is it going to feel like then? When that last hour hits, and you think about all those hours you could have had and what
Hmm.
you could have done before you take your last breath. So you think about that before you say you don't have time to take care of yourself. You think about that because life is extremely precious. So you gotta prioritize self-care and make this life the best life you've ever had. Really enjoy
That's
it.
really good. Sometimes
Absolutely.
we'll take vacation during the holidays to get holiday shopping done.
And you work it. You just work it.
So you drag in the malls every day. You're
Yes.
tired, still have to come home
I'm gonna
and
tell you something.
prepare dinner.
My mom, Miss Rose Juanita, she was a master on the holiday. This is what she did. Starting in March, this was like a ritual. Once every couple of weeks, she was buying Christmas gifts. Little Chris,
Hmm.
little Christmas gifts. And they were stocking stuff with of course. And she would buy that stuff every month, every couple of weeks. But I'm telling you, our garage was full of Christmas stuff. And by the time Christmas came along, oh, she was ready. The only thing she did was wrap her gifts, but she was
That
ready
was
to go.
good. That
And
was
so
good.
Christmas was here. It was a holiday every day with her, you know. Especially she was a big, I don't know about you, Bridget, and your family. My mom was huge on Christmas wrap. Oh, she didn't play that.
Oh, I bet you it's beautiful. No, I'm
Beautiful,
not.
elaborate
No, I'm not like
ribbons,
that.
chiffon, all kind of stuff. Yeah.
Also,
She
she
was
was
real big.
prepared. She
Oh, she
really
didn't
was
play.
prepared.
She didn't
I
play.
love
No.
that.
Yeah.
I
She
love seeing
subscribed to it.
beautiful presents. No, I
Yes.
stick mine in bags and whatever I can find.
No, she had she subscribed to this magazine that was called Reader's Digest.
Wow.
And the Reader's Digest magazine that was on Christmas. And she loved it. She
Oh, I
loved
bet you it was
it.
beautiful.
Oh yeah, the series. So yeah, that and another thing, and this is important strategy, is communicate the needs everyone. I mean, I can't express this. I'm not. And this goes beyond the house, but you've got to communicate your needs. You've got to communicate, even if they're not going to be liked.
Hmm.
Let me ask you a question. If you were alive, I think that's right. Not that you've all lied in something, okay? Why lie to yourself? Like, why did you lie to yourself and believe in it? You ask yourself. So when you're communicating your needs, it's one thing about your wants. It's Gucci, but your absolute needs. Why would you shortchange yourself? You deserve what you need.
Well, Doc,
You
I think a
deserve
lot of times, especially women, we don't know what we need because we've given so much throughout, with children and husband and, we've given ourselves so much. We don't really know what we need.
it. Absolutely. I'm actually going to be talking about that next week's podcast.
Hmm.
We talked about the broken man. We talked about some of the aspects of that. We're going to talk about the broken. We're going to talk about the forgiving woman. The
Hmm.
forgiving woman. We're going to talk about her and some of the things and issues around that. You guys are going to have to stick around for that discussion. That's going to be a good discussion. We're talking about that. We're going to talk about
That's gonna be
the
good.
feminine psyche. We're going to really talk
That's gonna be really
because
good.
you really, really, really have to express yourself. And the only way you can express yourself is to know yourself.
Hmm.
Because you got to have a direction and you got to always walk in and out. We talked about this before. The man and woman of purpose. That means everything that you do brings you, keeps you in line with your purpose.
Hmm.
Let's say that one of your purposeful goals is to be healthy.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm thirsty. So what are you drinking that's indicative to your health? Because if your purpose is to be healthy, you got to set those principles that will always keep you in line with your purpose.
Hmm.
Or you know what? Instead of having that cup of coffee, instead of having a soda, I'm going to have this glass of water.
That's
Because
good.
my purpose was, and I'm not going to keep lying to myself, my purpose is I want to be. So you drink that glass of water instead. Those
That's
kind
good.
of things, you know? So it's really, really being honest and truthful to that purpose, to that communication, communicating your needs. Because you shouldn't circumvent or subscribe to anything else with your needs. No matter who it is, your
Hmm.
needs come first.
I find that, Doc, what you do is therapy is also very important for people at this time of the year to reach out if you feel like there are some things that's too heavy for you to handle. What do you think about that,
Yes.
Doc?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just I'm not just I'm not just a woman therapist. All therapists are not created equal, but I also mentor. Mentorship and therapy go hand in hand. And yes, sometimes you need a third party that's not going to be biased, but they're going to be objective to what you are subjected to in life.
Hmm.
So absolutely, Bridget.
That's good.
I push that for anyone. Definitely get your therapist. Hopefully you come see me. I'm one of the best if you ask
Yeah,
me. But that's
he
the
really
same
is,
for
guys.
guys. That's the same for
He really
you
is.
know. And get a therapist that's going to give you peace of mind. They're going to help you develop the tools that makes you the best person you can be. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
don't go through the holidays feeling depressed. Reach
Right.
out to Dr. Higgins and just have a conversation with him. Talk to him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so
Don't
key.
feel like you're alone.
Yeah. You don't have to. When you feel that way, really truly embrace your pain. You have
Hmm.
to embrace your pain to accept it. When you accept it and you choose to deal with it. But when you ignore it
Hmm.
you, you ignore your pain in false happiness, you ignore your pain in the Christmas season, you
Hmm.
ignore your pain in Thanksgiving. What's going to happen when they go away?
Yeah.
Pain is going to be sitting right there waiting.
Yeah. Don't
It's
go
not
into
going to
the
go
new
in.
year. Don't go into
Yeah,
the new year feeling sad.
absolutely.
You want to
Absolutely.
be happy.
Absolutely. And it's a balance. Even in sadness and happiness, you want to maintain a balanced emotional access to the world and to
Hmm.
yourself. You want to maintain that,
Yeah.
you know, because life is going to always have challenges. It's not going to always be a fun-filled, happy day every day of
Hmm.
your life. But when your purpose is living, you're able to balance it into it. That is what's really good. You know, I have a couple more. When it comes
Okay.
to the coping strategies, is seeking support.
Hmm.
Now we talked about therapy, we talked about seeking support, but sometimes it can be a coworker,
Hmm.
it can be a really good friend. Once you understand the importance of communicating your needs, you got to develop trust, and you got to talk to people you know you can trust.
Hmm.
But you got to communicate to them. Can I trust you? And can I trust you and not judge you? Because we all judge people. Judgment
Hmm.
is a normal human thing. You can't go around. There's a fallacy that believes that we don't judge. We all do. You
Hmm.
know, if you had bad judgment, people would think something was wrong with you, right?
Yeah.
So judgment is judgment, whether it's good or bad, right? So when please ask and request the person that you trust. Please don't judge me. And I'm having a moment of transparency. And I really appreciate you and I need you.
Hmm.
And I really need your help because I want to talk to you. And let them know the position they hold in your life and how much value in their opinion that you appreciate it.
That's
And that
good.
will go a long way. So don't be afraid on seeking help from some of the honest places.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, and be sure it's someone you can trust that you won't hear it again.
Oh man. Oh man. Bridget, because there's nothing worse, especially if there's a partner. I don't know how many of you've gone through this, right?
Hmm.
If it's a partner that throws it back in your face at times of arguments
Hmm.
and disagreement. They throw it back in your face as a means of weaponizing your trauma. There's nothing worse than that because that violates your trust and it,
Hmm.
it can never be repaired. When the person starts doing that, that sparks the end of the relationship.
Yeah.
And it's an extremely narcissistic thing to throw someone's shortcomings back in their face just to win an argument and demoralize.
Yeah.
That's why you got to be very careful, selective, and you got to be able to communicate well by being direct.
That's good. That's really good,
Absolutely.
Doc. That's really good. And you said you had one more?
Absolutely. And it's all about seeking professional help. Like we
Hmm.
talked about last but not least, always seek professional help as a third party. And so that those are the coping strategies that I think will help this holiday season. I really hope this will really help you guys because as great as the holiday seasons are, for
Yeah.
some people it really
Thank you so much, Doc. This has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. There's someone out there, and Doc, I feel like, someone needed to hear this tonight. Someone
is.
needed that lifeline. And so, guys, if you really, really need to speak with someone, please reach out to Dr. Higgins. His email address is Albert Higgins. Can you give us your email address?
Yes, it is Dr. Albert Higgins at dralberthiggins.com.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
And he'll be waiting and eager to speak with you.
Yes, indeed. Reach out to me, guys. Yep, I'm just an email away.
Thank you so much. And so we're gonna be back here on next Tuesday, and we're going
Yes,
into these holiday seasons. And I hope you all are enjoying your family. That's the most important.
yes, guys. We are days away, weeks away from 2024. Oh, that is amazing.
Oh, and we're gonna be talking about goal setting too, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There is definitely a skill to setting goals. Absolutely.
Thank you so
So,
much. Oh, Doc, talk about your new book.
oh, yes, absolutely. And I'll be remiss, and that's actually something that we're going to highlight because we talked about this actually one of our first episodes
Mhm,
on the Alpha Mindset podcast. And it is narcissism,
mhm,
escaping the shadow of coping and dealing with a narcissist. My ebook is really, really an elaborate ebook. I'm moving copies already. It's incredible. It's a really, really good depth ebook. And it gives you some fundamental knowledge. Narcissism is such a generalized term. So what I did is I took the time so that the layman really knows how to identify a narcissist, really knows how to cope and deal with the narcissist by one, removing yourself from a narcissist. That is the hardest thing to do to play on your emotions. So this ebook is designed to really be a formidable manual to help you deal with those kind of situations because what people don't realize, and I know there are a lot of famous narcissists that are going around talking
mhm,
about the narcissist and how to cope with them. Let me tell you something. There is no cure for it. There is
mhm.
no cure for narcissism. Understand this. And narcissism can be genetic. Understand that. So if there's some things that I want you to, tap in to my ebook because it tells you some things that you're going to be shocked when you read. I promise you that.
Yeah, it's really good ebook. And so how can someone purchase it, Doc?
Absolutely. What you can do is you can reach me at Dr. Albert Higgins at dralberthiggins.com
Hmm.
and then put in that you want the ebook and I'll get it out there too. So
Okay.
Dr. Albert Higgins at dralberthiggins.com. And I'm finishing up the building of my website, adding some books to it, and then I have a page for all of my products and kind of do. So you can eventually, very shortly, be able to access the book.
Yeah, I'm excited about that and some videos, and yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
really nice.
absolutely.
I'm excited.
So you get to see Bridget's beautiful self, and you get to see me, with the ugly guy on his side. So,
Great discussion, Doc. Thank you so much for tonight.
absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you guys. We'll see y'all
Yes,
next Tuesday.
yes, indeed, guys. Have a wonderful